The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Outside the Booth, where we talk to DJs about their life and experiences. I go by the name of DJ Kamish, alongside the lovely BX.
Hey now.
And Mr. 212.
Why not? What's up, y'all? What's good?
DJ Knuckles is here.
Hey, family, what's going on, y'all?
And let me tell you something. I'm so glad that y'all didn't hear what we was talking about before we got on this air right now. I'm so glad about that. But I want to thank the Matrix Studios. I want to thank my homie Rick on the boards here.
Yes,
The Ricker.
I want to thank Party1019.com. I want to thank iHeartRadio. I want to thank YouTube and all the people that's watching us on Twitch for the opportunity to be entertaining y'all.
Yes.
For approximately 1 year now, as of today, right? So
1 year.
1 year. It's been
drop a bomb on
the anniversary.
It's been actually 1 year anniversary, which is kind of crazy.
Yes.
I can't believe it's been that long already.
Like, yes. 12 months.
12 months.
Exactamundo.
So yeah, we've been here. We've been rocking and doing our thing. So for everyone who's new, follow us. Yeah, welcome. Follow us, like us. Give us 5 stars. If you do not give us 5 stars, I like to incline to believe that you're a
just
hater.
Hating.
Yeah.
Show us some love.
Or just leave your address in the comments, and I'm gonna come ask you personally why you ain't put the 5 stars. I just want to know. It's just me, Knuckles. I want to conversate.
Yeah. So yeah, 1 year anniversary. How does it feel, y'all?
It feels good. I feel accomplished.
Yo, I'm proud I'm doing it with y'all, man.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all.
We've been done this a long time, and we've accomplished a lot, and to still be accomplishing things is dope. So happy anniversary to us.
Yes, happy anniversary to us. Happy anniversary. Thank you all for liking us, subscribing, share with your friends. Keep it going. Keep it going. Let's keep growing together.
Yes.
They still do this in the street?
Yes.
No, they don't, but you know
I mean, old though. I can rock you out with you though. Pass it.
We got new people watching. Won't you be
saying? But listen, on our 1 year anniversary, we have a special guest.
Who?
Special guest.
Oh, okay.
The one, the only, known as DJ to the Stars.
Basically.
You guys know him as rocking the crowds out in Europe, on tour with CL Smooth, all over with Remy Ma. Y'all give it up for the one and only DJ Bedtyme 357 up in here, outside the booth, stepping outside the booth with us.
Why, yo, baby?
Yes.
Peace, y'all. Peace. What's going on, man? Thank you for the invite, especially for y'all 1 year anniversary. That's super special.
Thank you for being our guest for 1 year. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into everything, I hope you're a Knicks fan.
You know what? Actually, BX, I don't even watch basketball, to be honest with you. I'm more of a football fan, as you can see from my attire. I'm football.
And you got the nerve to be a Steelers fan.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
oh God.
All right, so let's ask a football question real quick.
Okay.
And let's ask a Steeler question. Who is your quarterback? Because
Mason Rudolph. Without hesitation. Yo, Kamish, I actually championed Mason Rudolph being the QB before we brought on Fields and Wilson. That's how confident I was, or I am, in that dude.
He caught that L from what's his name? From Cleveland. Who was the defensive player for the trade? What was his name? Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
That was a bad look.
Yeah, that's a monumental brawl. You go through YouTube and look at NFL films and all that. That brawl is in there definitely as one of them brawls.
But I think his stock went down because of that. So, but you, as being a Steelers fan, understands what. Yeah, I think his stock went down as far as media is concerned, but I don't think his stock went down as far as his play. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what you're saying. But but what I believe, because it's he say, she say, you know what I mean? No one knows what was said to start that brawl off. Myles Garrett has one way of pitching that story. and Mason Rudolph has another way of pitching that story. Who knows?
Yeah.
It happens, man. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of how that N word is triggered to a lot of people, man. It's okay when we use it, but certain genders or races can't use it. There should be no color line between using that word with any of us because we readily throw it back and forth to each other in derogatory fashion or in a friendly fashion. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. To each their own. I rock with him as a Steeler, as a QB. I like his qualifications to leading the team and holding down that locker room. So I'm running with him. But peace to Myles Garrett too. Salute to him, man. That's a hell of a player.
No, he is.
Well, before we get out the football conversation and get into your wonderful life, I just want to say, I'm a football nut. I ain't got to tell you my team, especially after I tell you thank you. I'm going to tell you thank you right now.
He's got to be a nut.
For
You
Yo, Mr. Bedtyme, I'm going to tell you thank you for Pickens.
Oh, okay. Cowboys?
You know where I'm at.
Man.
You know where I'm at. I appreciate you, and I'll see you. We'll see you this season.
Y'all supposed to be America's team, but y'all ain't had no kind of reason to celebrate for 1,000 years, but it's all good.
No.
Word.
DJ Bedtyme. They are America's team.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Why you look at the camera like that?
Get into it.
They are.
Look.
It's all right.
It's true.
Y'all finally changed that head coach. Y'all finally changed the head coach. Hopefully y'all pay that defensive player. What's his name? Branch?
Yeah. They figuring it out.
Pay that boy. You know what I mean? He's worth every penny. No, Michael Parsons. Pardon.
Yeah, Mike.
That's the one that's negotiating his contract right now.
Listen, I'm a Giants fan.
I'm a Giants fan, and we got Russell Wilson from you guys. So
yeah,
and you guys are going to do incredible this year.
Knowledge to the young QBs, or if he does
not going to go up crazy this year. I see.
I don't believe that.
Wow.
Listen.
Our O-line got to be.
I'll be honest with you.
Up. Our O-line got to step up.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to watch your team. My team is done as far as I'm concerned.
Who's your team?
The Giants.
The Giants.
No, I just want you to say it again. That's all.
Wow.
The Giants are done.
Shady.
I don't think we're going to finish in last place.
Okay.
I think Dallas will be worse than us. But it's going to be, it's going to be the Eagles and the Commanders, which I cannot stand that we let Jaden Daniels go to Washington.
You might as well get the Eagles and Kansas City out of the conversation. It's no wins for them this year at all.
You think so?
I don't even see them hitting the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Neither one of them?
Neither one of them.
Who?
Commanders for sure.
Y'all are out of control.
Commanders for sure.
I'm just going to say this. Giants need to go over there on 123rd in Harlem on the east side and play the Harlem Jets. Y'all need to stop playing. Stop
My son played for the Harlem Jets.
I bet you they could beat the Giants.
My son played for the Harlem Jets, and after he got hit one time at like 5 or 6 years old, he went to basketball.
Wow.
He was like, he took that helmet off so quick and he walked off the field. But
Bedtyme.
Wow.
listen, it's not about sports. It's about you, my friend.
Yes.
This is about you and everything that you stand for alongside your fellow colleagues of this DJ game and how we appreciate you. And
yeah, definitely. Me and Knuckles go way back, man. Salute to him. Kamish, I've definitely been familiar with you and how you get busy, but we've never crossed paths, unfortunately, through all of these years. But I like to keep it low key, so that may be my fault, man. I don't be in the it situations too often, bro. I go do what I gotta do and get up out of there.
I mean, okay, all right, let's be clear, right? He said he don't be in the it situations, but he's on the stage.
Yes. At the big stage.
We the ones that's not at the it. Because he's the it.
Stage.
He's the it.
He is the it.
But you know what?
The it factor.
Let me clarify that then. So I'm in the it situations, but after my job is done, I'm usually in the dressing room or up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do the after parties and all of the unnecessary stuff, man. I'm more. And I attest that to running around with Remy as well, because she doesn't stay for a lot of those things, which allows me to keep it moving too. You know what I mean?
But that, I mean, if that's what works, man, it's what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you do in that light. And, you know, me and you have had conversations. As long as you stay consistent, that light shines on you, but you're working the light. Everybody else that's at the it, because you're the it, they're under the light, trying to be under the light. You know what I mean? You're the light. So we appreciate you. And I want to say one thing, man. I have come up with some DJs, man, and I've come across some names. Bedtyme, you're one of the top 10 dope DJ names I've ever come across. One of the dopest, man. There was the Kid Capri. There was, you know, DJ Smoke Black. You know, you know, sometimes you hear DJ name, you know, we see it on the fly and go, what the? But nah, it's about what you make of it. And when I got to meet you finally, because you know, back then we was on flyers and we would meet each other via the flyer. Right. You know what I mean? And I saw you, I was like, yo,
I think Shantae is the one that actually linked you and I together.
Yeah, man.
The one that linked you and I together from Co-op, man. Word.
No doubt, man.
That's dope. That's dope.
Much
shout
love.
out. Shout
How
out.
did you get the name Bedtyme?
Man, 5th grade, brother.
An iconic name. Like it's, you know what I mean?
got it in 5th grade. Back then I was in a group home, foster care, going through the system, and one of my homeboys, because anybody that knows anything about living in the group homes and things like that, you got to be back home by a certain time. All of my homies at the time were older than me. So one day we were all going out and I looked at the clock. It might have been a beeper back then. And I'm like, yo, I got to get back to the spot. And they all, oh, come on, man. We always got to bring this dude back because we never traveled solo. And in a jokingly manner, one of my homeboys was like, yo, we going to call you Curfew. And then they was like, nah, we going to call you Bedtyme. And for like 2 weeks, they were playing back and forth with it. And then after 2 weeks, they just said, yo, Bedtyme. And it just stuck, man. And I've been Bedtyme ever since the summer of 5th grade, man.
That's crazy.
Wow. Since you were 10 years old.
Word, real talk.
Since you was 10 years old.
I added the 357 on it because my brother and I, the house we had owned, the studio in there, the address was 357, what still is because the house is still there. 357 South 3rd Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. And everyone knew my brother for doing the music. And they'll be like, yo, I'm going to 357 studio. And they were referring to me. And I just added the 357 to the Bedtyme, and the rest is history, man.
Oh, that's amazing. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, look, we about to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get into your business.
Let's do it. I'm here.
Your life, and we're going to get to know DJ Bedtyme 357. Y'all stay tuned. This is Outside the Booth. We'll be right back.
The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Oh man, we back.
I mean, y'all are crazy.
We gotta stop doing them commercials or just air them so they can see who the problem is.
I would really love for you guys to see what goes on when we're on break in here, but I don't think we'll have a time slot on Party 101.9 anymore after that.
No. It's Outside the Booth, y'all. DJ Kamish, BX, DJ Knuckles, we're here. And of course, our guest is DJ Bedtyme.
My brother.
357, which we just found out where the name Bedtyme came from and where 357 came from.
Dope.
So, BX, you had a question on that, man?
Well, we just wanted to tap into when you were saying you were in a group home. Was that since 10 years old? And how long until you got out of the system? And what kept you so positive and, focused on becoming who you are today?
Right. Well, for one, I'm glad that the name was given to me. Let me start there. I'm glad it was given to me because I really am not a fan of when people name themselves and start running with the nickname. So I appreciate the fact that the name was given to me. The whole group home situation, I was actually in the group home before I got the name. It started off with foster care. Unfortunately, well, I'm not even going to say unfortunately because it turned out to be a good thing. Fortunately, at the time, my mother wasn't able to take care of both my sister and I. And she decided the day before I believe my 7th birthday or the 8th birthday, she decided to give us up to the system. And she turned over her rights and we were then placed into foster care. And after some time that led to going to different group homes and then being adopted. And then ultimately me going out on my own and, living life as I know it or attempting to follow the path that I thought God had paved for me.
Okay.
What kept me positive I got tired of hearing everybody use their background or upbringing as an excuse, man. For one, I vowed not to become a statistic. Unfortunately, as a black man and growing up as a man in general, you're a statistic automatically.
Absolutely.
But I vowed not to be what they call a quote unquote statistic. You know, I come from a broken background somewhat, or for the most part. So you would expect for me to have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women. You would expect for me to have a lengthy jail record. You would expect for me to have a disease or two here or there that may be still around or got cured. You would expect for me to just be wrong, on the wrong side of the tracks. And I vowed to myself that I was not going to let that be my story.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
My story, and I think I did like what's 360 twice, 780 or 720. I think I did a 720 on the world right now, man. Because from where I started to where I am now, man. But God bless both of my parents. God bless my adopted family for stepping in and doing what they did. Although that didn't work out the way one would anticipate, I actually got kicked out of their house when I was in the 10th grade. They kicked me out and put me in a co-op apartment, and I lived by myself for the last 2 years of high school, man. Word. But fortunately enough for me, right after high school, I went straight into college on my own. I did a year and a half of college, and then I went into the military.
Okay.
What school you went to?
I went to Iona College and then finished up at Monroe.
Wow. There you go.
Yes, gotcha.
See, that's
shout out to New Rochelle. Shout out to New
Rochelle.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I got to put y'all on hold for a minute. I got to get the charger for this laptop. This battery about to die. My fault, y'all.
Nah, it's all good.
Right back.
So the funny thing is that Iona College is now expanded. Is now Iona University, and that's happened. I mean, that's a sports story and a St. John's story. Our coach at St. John's got when he was brought back to college basketball, he took that job at Iona. And as soon as he got there,
Iona wanted to upgrade.
Iona upgraded, and they ended up buying. Mercy College, as a matter of fact.
Wow!
So
I
now
remember Mercy College.
Yeah. So they bought up Mercy College.
So they merged.
So now it's Iona University.
His story, like Bedtyme, your story is just great, and it's like a pure testament of perseverance, because who can have? It's a lot of people that do come out of the system and they are positive, but you're only the second person that I know to be in the system and come out of it on top like you are and have such an impact on the world.
I mean,
the way that
and I tap dance with the whole, I don't want to say criminal side, but I have my run-ins with the law. You know, I did the little stints in jail, the weekends, the couple days, but I realized that wasn't for me, man.
Right, but let me ask you, Bedtyme, what you going through, what you was going through, do you think that you're running with the laws were you taking risks to survive at that point? Some do it just for fun, you know that.
It wasn't survival. It was more so me holding down my homies, holding down my brothers. You know, because for the most part, I was the scary one. I ain't want the problem. I want to check it out. But I can't tell my peoples that if they get into a situation and I'm with them, I got to bang out with them.
Right.
That's what it was. So, fortunately enough for me, I used to always see that Rikers Island bus going over the Throgs Neck or either the Whitestone, right?
Yep.
And I used to say, yo, as long as I don't make it on that bus, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Fact, though. That's a fact.
That's a wake up call in itself. Yeah.
But here it goes. All the run-ins with the law I had in the little stays in jail, the last one that made me wise up, I used to always be scared when I got locked up. And I would never tell my homies or never show nobody. The last serious case I caught, I got locked up and I wasn't scared when it was admitting me to the boat. I was going on the boat.
I remember that boat.
I wasn't scared. I was like, it is what it is. And that's when I told myself, yeah, something got to change because you're not scared no more.
Right.
So now you're used to it. And I was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yep. You know what that means? That when you're no longer scared of that, then that, especially when you're talking about that, right? If you're no longer scared and you're getting used to it, then that means that you've turned
right
to a certain degree. You know what I mean? So and that's like opening a Pandora's box. You don't want everything that comes along with that. You know what I mean?
Right. But then you're prepared, and then now you're kind of sort of comfortable with it. And that's when you said, nah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with this. This is not me.
This ain't it.
That's a hell of a choice, man. Well, what was that? Was that the inspiration to turn you right then and there to the music?
Oh, yeah. Well, not necessarily turn me, but for me to realize, yo, you veered out of your lane, bro. Get back in your lane and keep going straight the way you was going. So that's what happened. I'm fortunate enough that happened. I don't want to say recently. I say like right when Rem got locked up, that happened. So it was around the same time.
So wait. Hold on. Back up for a second. Back up. Because you was already, so you're telling me that you was already DJing. So where did the DJing part come in?
2004.
Okay.
It started in 2000 because I was pretty much just managing the company or managing my brother, right? And it got to the point where, what was that?
Your brother was an artist?
No, he's DJ.
Oh, okay.
It was he and I together. The company was PF4 Entertainment, Partners for a Reason. And we started having people sign contracts because we became a legitimate business as far as we know. Unfortunately, he started getting more hours required of him at work. He was working for FedEx at the time. I'll never forget. Wow. And we like, yo, if you can't make it to the party, what we gonna do? We already took these people deposits, we signed contracts. And he was like, yo, just go start the party and I'll come and finish it. Or, Right. And one thing led to the next, and I became good at it. And then people started requesting me more so than anything. So that's how that turned.
That was God putting you in a place. He put you there for a reason.
I absolutely didn't know what I was doing. I used to take word up. I used to take all them cats and you know what I mean, and then try my best to put things together. I think what helped me was I have the gift of gab. I could talk my way through pretty much anything. So if my transitions weren't the greatest at the time, I was able to talk from one record to the next and not get people upset.
So that kind of made you a showman early.
Yeah. I wanted to go into law, brother. I wanted to be a lawyer because I knew my talk game was crazy. I knew they used to call me Kiss Ass Kaiser because of the way I was talking. That was a family, you know what I'm saying? So,
oh my God,
I was gonna go into international corporate business law, man. That's exactly what I wanted to do.
You can't. You're not being stopped now. You can still do that, but you still got more records to play right about now.
Yeah, you know what? And I have more responsibility right now. It's not just about me, so I have to be considerate of those around me. I have a family now, which I'm not using as an excuse, but I'm using it as motivation to focus on something more than myself.
Absolutely.
I know that's right. I seen the big wedding on IG when you got married some years ago.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you, BX. I want to post that video of our wedding so bad because still to this day, my wife and I have been married for 7 years, I believe.
7 years. It was 7. Your anniversary.
Yeah, 7. Right. So, I want to post that video so bad because we've been to weddings and people we know have been to weddings that attended our wedding, and they still say, "Yo, that was the creme de la creme of weddings." So, one of my people was like, "Yo, Bedtyme had his wedding in a damn castle. It wasn't no castle though." But, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Where was the wedding?
It was in New Rochelle, New York, at a spot called the Surf Club. A lot of people use that place.
Exactly where that is. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people use it, but it was the manner in which we did it and everything that embodied that wedding. You know what I'm saying? So from the way the fountain was flowing that day, pulling up to the joint, it's just the backdrop. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If you was right.
Only supposed to get married once, man. So we attempted to do it the way God planned, and I could get into that whole step-by-step process of my wife and I meeting each other and then getting married if y'all decide to ask that, but we went with the direction that I felt God wanted us to do it.
That's awesome. So when did you actually start getting like the big gigs, and how did you come about building that relationship? How did you and Remy meet? How did you become her DJ and then traveling to overseas?
So it started with me doing unsigned indie artist showcases. Knuckles, I'm sure you can attest to this. Kamesh, I don't know if you were involved with showcases back then, but
I was not playing showcases, but I was always going to them, right? I came from St. John's. I'm a college radio DJ, so I had to go to these showcases. Like all of the, a lot of these younger artists that were coming out, they started there, like before they got signed, or even when they got signed, they were like the headline of these showcases. You know what I mean? So I was always around.
So I started doing the unsigned indie artist showcase scene, and fortunately enough for me, it branched out in so many different ways, from magazine publications that were including me in their magazines. It started out with people inviting me to DJ certain events, like private events. It started labels involving me directly, and then my management was so smart in marketing me, and he would, God bless the dead because he's passed away now, but he used to always tell me I made his job easy because of my talent. But his way of thinking was so beyond what was at the time. It was crazy. Like, I think I'm the only DJ to this day that had a condom sponsorship. I don't know if any DJ that had that. Word.
That's true.
Been in the game for a while. Let me know if y'all know any DJ that had a condom sponsorship.
So listen, I had some friends who had a condom company, but no, they didn't sponsor DJs. No.
Okay, so I was sponsored by Strap Condoms, right? And at the same time, I was sponsored by a liquor brand called Jägermeister. So the two of those together, crazy combination. So
at the same time?
At the same time, I was dropping
you were getting sponsored by Starlin Dean too.
I was sponsored by Starlin Dean. I was sponsored by Carhartt at one time. So it's a whole mix of them that I was blessed enough to be sponsored by. But I was dropping a mixtape series called The Definition of Sex. So my management said, yo, let's package the CD with the condom. So we would seal the CD with the condom inside. Unbeknownst to the customer, they would get the CD, pop it open, and the damn condom pop out. But
I love it.
That's how I got my start through the showcase scene. And then fortunately enough for me, fast forwarding a little bit, Pete Rock and CL Smooth broke up, unfortunately. I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. Both of them are from Mount Vernon. Well, CL's from New Rochelle and Queens, but Mount Vernon for the most part. A mutual friend that knew both of us knew that CL was going on tour in Europe and he needed a DJ. So he threw me to Alley. Fortunately enough for me, CL was with it. After a month or so talking about it, he was with it. I was overseas with him for like a month, I believe. We traveled Europe, Denmark, Norway, Italy. And this is when the Olympics were in Torino, Italy. So we got to see a little bit of everywhere. Amsterdam. But while I was over there and constantly checking in with my manager, he told me that once I returned to the States, Remy and her team wanted to have a sit down with me because she was looking for a DJ. And because of the showcases, again, one of my mans, God bless the dead, my man Jamal Reality Meeks, he was the co-A&R on Remy's new project, There's Something About Remy, and he worked with me in the showcase scene. So that was my plug right there automatically. Mm-hmm. And once I got home, she and I did maybe 2 or 3 shows together. And then she was like, yo, if you want the job, it's yours. So
that's dope.
There was a piece in between there with me and her first meeting that I left out, but I figured I'll leave that alone. There's nothing bad about it though.
That's dope.
No, but that's dope though. I think that your travel, I think expanded your mind, and when you came home, it made you want to work more because you saw what it could be. You know, right. I definitely tell my DJs to stay consistent, keep pushing, and it's a bigger thing than your local thing you're doing. I always tell them that.
Yes, indeed. I've been telling, because of my manager, actually CL started this when we were on the road. He was telling everybody that his DJ is the international Kaiser. So I just remember with that. And come on, Kamish, Knuckles, y'all know Pete Rock and CL Smooth, their history in the game, brother, whether you think you're talking entertainment or you're talking music, and then for a young cat like me from Mount Vernon, New York, to be on tour with CL Smooth, and everyone and their mother on that European tour was expecting to see Pete Rock. So I had to step in some big shoes, and I'm no turntablist. I do what I do, right? But especially when I got to Germany, or when we got to Germany, they wanted to see me work them decks. So after we performed, they kind of like called me out, to be honest with you, and but in a respectful way. And CL's manager at the time, Nick, he was like, "Yo, Bed, you don't got to do it." And I'm like, "What you mean I ain't got to do it? We got like 3 more weeks of this, bro. This might happen again."
Right.
And it was all vinyl. They had their crates out there, and I just picked through what they had and did what I did. And sure enough, they was asking for autographs after that, taking pictures.
I know that's right.
Wild beer and lager. Like they were going crazy. It was a good look. It was a good look.
That's dope. That's dope.
That's what's up. But look, we about to take another break. We're gonna get into your mix. DJ Bedtyme 357 with the one and only mix stepping outside the booth for y'all. So y'all stay tuned. Enjoy the mix. It's your girl BX.
357. Mr. 212 hanging with 357.
And DJ Kamish. We be right back.
The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Glad we back, man.
And we are back.
I'm sitting there listening to the juice and you gonna talk about some damn pizza.
Listen. First of all, I want to thank you for your mix, first of all, and the shout out for the team.
Oh yeah, that's mandatory. How could I not?
Make sure y'all follow at DJ Bedtyme 357. That's BEDTYME 357. But before we left,
listen, not to cut you off, y'all give me my props, but props to y'all. Salute to y'all, man, for having a platform such as this, and congratulations once again on y'all 1-year anniversary. It's a big deal, man. The consistency is respected. Definitely respected.
Thank you, and thank you for being vulnerable and letting us into your private life and your upbringing, and telling us how that bus going across the bridge to Rikers was like your indication, like that's not where I want to be. Like that was your reminder of where you didn't want your life to turn up.
You said that became a part of your logo. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. So my logo is a tricked out short school bus, and myself and my management team have countless hours of trying to locate, because that's a real bus. We tried to locate it so we could purchase it, and unfortunately we weren't able to find the owner of it. But the reasoning behind it, when I was in the group home and I was in middle school, I went to what they call a magnet middle school. So they would teach you different trades, right? So I went into the business magnet on a business program, and they had me running the school store. But unfortunately, in order to get to the school early enough, I had to find transportation to get there. A female that lived across the street from me, she had cerebral palsy, and she went to our school. Well, she went to my school. She took the short school bus. Most people do not like being associated with the short school bus for whatever reason. Right. I personally was scared to death of individuals with disabilities. I'm not now, and I haven't been for years. I respect and love a lot of them. But that was my way to get to school early. Because I chose that route to take that short school bus, the school in turn turned over the business to me and allowed me to run it and operate it like it was mine, and I collected all of the revenue from it. All I had to do was invest it. I had to invest it back into the store. We sold things like notebooks, bagels, muffins. And that's what it started off as, and then they allowed me to grow it in whatever direction I wanted. And then I had to hire students as employees. So that's where the short school bus comes from.
How old were you when you was doing this? Yeah.
I was in 7th grade, 7th, 8th grade, whatever age that is. I'm about to be 46 in August.
13, 14 years old.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Don't get it wrong. They taught me the nuggets that I needed to, get it shaken. and they watched me for a while just to make sure it was going right. Because for 2 years, I had time to cultivate that whole business thing. So after a couple of months, the teacher at the time, Miss DeAngelis, she was like, "Look, you got it on your own. If you need help, let me know. I'm upstairs, or you could contact me this way." And that's that.
That's crazy because that's significant because, that actually helped you understand the DJ business later on.
Help me understand business in general, man, from a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Like, so this for a fact, like, and Knuckles, you'll agree when I say this. Most of us DJs, we go in for the love of the music, right? But we don't know anything about business. You came in with a different experience and a different perspective coming in.
Yep. You want to hear something even crazier, man?
Yes, sir.
I had no love for the music at all. The love for the music grew on me. It was the attention that I was getting. The attention was the crazy part. That's what kept me going. Still to this day, I love the fact that people could see me on platforms like this. People hear me on the radio. Shoot, I like hearing myself on the radio. So the attention was a big, big draw to me. And that's what kept me consistent throughout all of these years. And the fact that people actually liked what I was doing, that just fed my ego, man. I'm a Leo, so that just fed my ego like crazy.
And at that time, if I'm correct, we go back a couple of minutes ago, you was telling us about the group home and then the adoption thing. So when you were doing that for the school, where were you at that point?
I was actually in the process of being adopted.
Okay.
Yeah.
You literally was going through it.
The paperwork was finalized in my 9th grade year, I believe. Everything was finalized.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
Wow.
You were an entrepreneur as a preteen.
Yeah.
As a preteen, you were an entrepreneur. So when these kids are watching you in high school and seeing that you're running a school bus business and you were doing, and your adoptive parents are watching you run a business while be a student, what were they thinking? Were they just in awe of you, like everyone around you, from teachers to classmates to your adoptive parents? And what about your sister? Do you still speak to your sister?
I do. Shout out to my little sister Mumu. She just had a birthday. She like 50 years old right now. Nah, I'm just messing with her.
Happy birthday.
She's younger than me. I just mess with her because I know she's watching and will watch this again. So shout out to her. But yes, constantly we were together the whole ride. The only time we weren't together is when I got kicked out of the home, the house, the adopted family's house. But shout out to my adopted parents. My adopted pops is deceased. My adopted mother's still doing really good. She's out in North Carolina. So shout out to them. They instilled in me enough that allowed me to keep doing what I was doing. So they championed the positivity that I had attached to me as a young adult. And that branched off with the teachers and things like that to me becoming the only youth member on the Westchester County Youth Bureau. That was never heard of before I was elected to that. And I didn't have to run. They chose me straight out of middle school into high school. So
that's wild.
My adopted parents, they knew of what I was doing. And they did their best to give me that push to continue going. But for the most part, it had to be me. Parents could cheer you on all they want, or they could have different directions that they want you to go into, but it's solely up to the individual themselves.
Absolutely.
It's up to you.
Absolutely.
To keep it
yeah.
Right.
You have to do what it is that you believe in, and you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
100%.
What came first with the big stages and the tours? Because I know that you did Hot 97 shows as well. Did you do summer jams, or were you just doing local parties for them?
Oh man, I think I did 10 summer jams to this day. 10 because of Remy.
Are you doing this year, summer jam?
What was that?
Are you doing summer jam this year?
I don't know. I can't tell y'all that. That would be a surprise.
I was trying to get the exclusive. But what we do know you're doing,
I can tell you,
Rock the Bells.
Well, yeah, we definitely doing Rock the Bells. I would definitely be there for that. Yes, we are. So yeah, yep. But I've done summer jams for a long, long time. I always wanted to do or anticipated doing Madison Square Garden. I've done every other big arena that you can think of, fortunately enough for me throughout my career, but I never touched Madison Square Garden. And then last year we did it twice. And I lost my mind the first time, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Hold on. I
Wait,
gotta give
we
you
gotta
applause
drop a
for that.
bomb?
Yeah, I'm bugging.
You gonna drop
That's what I'm talking about, Bedtyme. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up, Bedtyme.
I ain't even got nothing to say. Like I'm sitting there just listening, man. And I know
But
commitment is
I
standing.
gotta say, not to interrupt y'all,
Yes.
I gotta give props to Remy Ma, man, because a lot of what I've accomplished through the years have been because I'm standing on her shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So her success has allowed me to continue to be successful in a lot of different ways. And I may not be the most consistent at working right now or for the past year or so, but when we do pop out, it's big events, man. Like last year we did Usher's Lovers and Friends Festival in Vegas. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? I just said we did Madison Square Garden twice. You know what I mean? So it's big events that when I do pop out, you like, this dude's still going. Jeez.
Yeah. Look, I just seen Remy when she popped out at the Mary J. Blige show. She came
Right.
out with Neo, and
Right.
were you there?
I wasn't. So my thing is this, BX.
Came out with Neo.
This is my thing.
She
I
did
had to get the music
whatever.
done for them. I had to do the editing for them.
She
For that.
did the
Feel so good. Feel so good.
Oh man,
And
when she
Succeeded.
came out, that building went crazy.
Right. Yep. So this is the thing. I'm big on, and I can't speak for Remy, but I believe this is why I lasted so long with her. Aside from the personal relationship that we have, if I don't have to be there, there's no reason for me to show up. I'd rather spend time with my wife and kids than to go hang out and rub shoulders with people like DJ Knuckles, BX, and Kamish just because, and we already know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Like if it's not a networking situation or beneficial to me long run, there's no reason for me to be there. That's valuable time that I can invest with my two young children. Little stuff, just my presence alone, because I learned quick fast that they don't necessarily need to be doing anything with me as long as I'm physically here and they can look through the door and say, Daddy, that's big.
Huge.
That's big, man.
That's what it's for. That's what it's all about. You do all the hard work so that when you have your family, now you can enjoy the fruits of your labor and that quality time with your family.
And you know what? We've had guests up here and we've asked that question, especially, the father situation, how you manage your time, because this DJ thing is so sporadical. It can be, even if you're already set in stone, like you run around with Remy, y'all got to show the 10th, the 13th, the 15th. No, sure, y'all do the 10th, and then y'all got to call for 11th. And you gonna promise the family you was going to be home. So to wager that and to make your title as daddy just as important as your job, you're balancing that correct, man. And that makes you a great man. And I love that daddy role too, man. So congratulations on that, man.
Yo, props to my wife, because her and my mother-in-law, I must say. Between my wife, my mother-in-law, Grandma Strawberries, just to get it correct. That's what she goes by, Grandma Strawberries. And my Uncle B, Uncle Brian. Them three make my life incredibly easy, man. So, if by chance, and my wife is very understanding, Knuckles, like you said, if we have certain dates set already, and then we get called out for an additional day or something like that, everything is last minute with Remy, by the way. I got to tell y'all that. Everything is last minute. So
I mean, but that's with any artist, right? You work with any artist is always going to be last.
Nah, bruh. I know
it's a different level.
I know a handful of artists who have schedules and they go by the book. I love Remy to death, but she is last minute with everything. That's because she's so hands-on. She doesn't like letting other people handle things for her.
Yeah, I definitely learned that too, man. Watching y'all do it, I've seen some of the summer jams that y'all have done, the festivals outside, and then work your way inside and tear it down. So she's definitely hands on. Yo, I gotta get out here. I gotta do this. I
was never with her for the festivals. That's before I got on. The festival was a long time ago.
Me and Scoop usually outside with her.
Okay, I actually came on with Remy in 2004, right before or right after Annie Up and Lean Back dropped, and right before her album. So I've been with her since 04.
Bangers. Two bangers. Let me ask you a question. So it's been known or been noted. Excuse me. It's been noted that you are one of the first DJs to even get into podcasts, interviews, and everything. And one of your first interviews was the legendary KRS-One. How did you end up getting into podcasting before it was podcasting, and then you went on to breaking artists and having all these shows? And like, do you like how do you even grasp
it was my manager's call. Jay Hatch, again, rest in peace to Jay Hatch. Him and Drawzilla, that was his partner at the time. They decided the best route for me to go would be to branch off from the showcases and bring that to the radio. And it worked. It worked perfectly. And they introduced me to DWI, and then the cohesiveness started there. And it started with a show called Hate Money Radio. And hate is an acronym for how all things exist. And how do all things exist? Money. So hate money. You know what I'm saying? So we just took the showcase platform and all those credible or incredible artists and brought them to the radio, a lot of which have never received radio airplay. So me playing their music on the air was a big deal for them. And essentially people would say, if we can't get to K Slay, because that's the dude you wanted to get to if you were unsigned indie artist, at least we could get to Bedtyme, and hopefully that'll catapult us to get into K Slay.
Right.
Shout out to K Slay as well.
That's a hell of a thing for people to say. If not K Slay, Bedtyme. That is big.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right.
Huge.
Who is the last artist that you broke, or what are a few artists that you broke their records and they're doing pretty good right now?
Well, you know what, BX, and I say this respectfully, I haven't broken any artists. I have not. You know, these artists were who they are before they came to me. I was just blessed with the ability or the opportunity to play their music on the radio. You know, so whether it be I be the first person to play it or the second person or whatever may have you, these artists were always who they are before they got to me. And I was just the catalyst to help move things along for them, hopefully.
Hold on, bro. That sound like a lot of deferring. I'm sorry. It sounds like a lot of deferring.
He's a humble guy.
Well,
I appreciate
they are who they are before they got to DJ Bedtyme. You know what I'm saying? They are who they are. Like, a lot of which, they, because of who they are, what they do, caught my attention. So, you know, they were hot in the streets before I got to them or before they got to me. So how could I say I broke them? You know?
I will say this. They are who they are, and artists are always going to be who they are. But you, sir, have a vehicle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they understand and respect that vehicle, and they know how important that vehicle is.
Right.
And that vehicle goes through you, sir.
Yes.
So that was deferring.
You know what I'll say this.
I mean,
I've assisted a handful of artists that may have been considered underground underground indie artists, like the Crozette Michelles, the Fred the Godsons, Nano, even K Dot. I remember Kendrick Lamar. He came and did the SOB showcase with J Rock with us, with Khalifa. You know, these are cats that performed at Faces in the Crowd showcases that we used to put on before they became who they were or who they are. Serious Jones, Murder Mook, Goods, you know, T-Rex. These cats performed in these showcases.
And you're not saying that they aren't who they are, because they are who they are. But what I'm saying is that they needed that outlet at that time.
Yeah. Even somebody like Justina Valentine, who's out of this world right now because of the Wild 'N Out. You know, she blessed the stages a couple times, and these are all good friends of mine still to this day. And because I didn't name a Caribbean artist, I have to mention her. Hood Celebrity, the real Tina. That is one artist I can say I met from ground zero and then watched her catapult. And I love her to death. She good people. That's family, man. Shout out to the real Tina, man.
Yeah. I think maybe the way we're saying it, or like all of us are saying it, because back when you were doing it, it was the word that Kamish just said, vehicle. Once the podcast thing started coming, it became a platform.
Yeah.
Right.
And vehicle, I think, was more interesting because Nobody knew what we were doing. We was just, we gonna play music because me and Scoop. Well, Scoop actually gave K Slay his slot on 107 because that was part of Scoop's slot.
Right.
And what I'm saying is I would sit there with him and listen to the songs he would play and watch him literally be outside. Yo, meet me downstairs. Have dudes meet him in front of 187, give him a dat, give him a tape, give him a CD, and he would go raw dog, not even put it in his pocket or nothing, and go upstairs. And this is before there were platforms. Whatever way you get it to the people, it could have been to 10 people. One of them people could be the person that called Murder Mook or T-Rex and said, you know what? You should do some rap battle. Yeah. You'll never know. So at the end of the day, you take those awards
and those flowers,
boy, because you open the door for, and just the plan to do that for unsigned artists when nobody wanted to do that, and they had no way to get to know anybody because back then you had to have some kind of relevance to knowing somebody. Oh, you Funk Flex's baby mother's cousin. Right. You know what I mean? And you open the door to no relation but to talent.
Right.
Where you can judge just the talent. So take those flowers,
take
King.
your flowers.
Thank you. And that's from the second part of your question. You asked about the KRS-One situation, which is monumental. Still to this day, I'm blown away by that. Somehow his manager and I were able to cross paths with one another. And after just us randomly talking, not attempting to set up anything in regard to Chris, just she and I talking, and she put me on to about the upcoming release of the Hip Hop Bible. So after a few weeks, we didn't talk to each other, and then randomly I heard from her, and she's like, "Yo, what you doing right now?" And I'm like, "Right now I'm chilling in the studio for the most part." She was like, "Yo, KRS is speaking at the Red Bull Studios tonight, and he wants you to come down." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. Get out of here." So she's like, "No, I'm serious. He wants to meet you." And I'm like, "I bet." I have my homegirl with me, who is an artist. I'm like, "Yo, come with me downtown real quick." We jumped in the car, head down to Red Bull Studios. I park, I get out, I go to the door, tell the security who I am. He was like, "Oh, they waiting for you." I'm like, "What?"
Ooh. Okay.
So we walk upstairs. His manager meets me once we walk into the room. He's somewhat off in the distance speaking to a group of people who are both sitting down and standing up listening to him. So, but he could see the door. And with no hesitation, and there's no reason for me to exaggerate this man, the hip hop icon, the teacher that we all love and know, said, "Pardon me, everyone. The individual I was waiting for is here." And he looked and pointed, and he said, "Yo, Bedtyme, I'll be with you in a few minutes." I turned around like, "What?"
Wow.
My homegirl was looking like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, how do KRS-One know me?" That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
crazy.
That's
fast forward, we're talking it up after he speaks to the group. And then he goes out of nowhere. All I want to know, why I ain't get invited to the radio show yet? And I'm like, "What?"
That's crazy.
Wait, how do you even know about the radio show? And I'm like, "Yo, I'll talk to your manager and we'll set it up." He's like, "When's the next time you record?" And I was like, "Friday," because we was doing it live. Friday. He was like, "What's on my schedule for Friday?" And she's telling him. And he's like, "If it's cool with you, I'll come up Friday."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, I bet I only need 30 minutes." And this was like a Tuesday, right? I only need 30 minutes. And according to his manager, he had to be out by like 8:30, 9 o'clock anyway, because he had something else to do. Fast forward, I tell nobody about this. I ain't tell DWI. I ain't tell my co-host. Nobody, the photographers or the videographers, nobody, because I'm like, KRS-One is BSing me. There's no way he's coming to my radio show. And this is when DWI was in the Bronx on Boston Road.
Boston Road.
Right.
Wow.
So, which is KRS-One's old stomping grounds, unbeknownst to me.
Absolutely.
So, I'm home Friday, getting ready to leave to come to the studio. DWI calls my phone. I'm like, "Yo," and he's whispering, "Yo, Bed, KRS-One is here waiting for you." I was like, "What?" he said, and he got a large pizza pie. He's trying to order everybody pizza. He's like, yo, you didn't tell me KRS was coming. I said, I didn't believe he was coming. That's why.
Wow.
So fast forward,
Where were you?
He was home on his way to the studio.
I was home on my way to the studio. So KRS-One came early. This is the thing I'm getting at. He came early by himself. He was like an hour early before the show, bro. So I get there, say what's up. We talking. His manager's there now. We start the interview. Everybody's in awe. They're calling people, telling them, come to the studio. KRS-One is here. Get your picture. So we're on air. He's in awe that we're doing the live broadcast and people could chat and talk to him at the same time. He's never seen that before.
That's crazy.
So,
and all his years of doing
hip-hop shows
right.
and teaching people.
So he's like, wait, they're responding right now. They can see me. I'm like, yeah, like you could talk to them, type, or we'll type whatever you want. So the half an hour goes through, and I'm like, yo, KRS-One, thank you for coming. We appreciate the time. And he's like, yo, on air now. He's like, yo, Bedtyme is trying to kick me out. And I'm like, nah, not at all. I said, your manager told me you have something else to do. Now, mind you, this is all live on air, and I'm sure DWI has the recordings. He goes, I'm aware of what I have to do later. They could wait.
That's what's up.
KRS-One stayed the whole 3-hour show. On that show, we had who is currently King Los's wife, Angel Lola Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the show, and we had who else was up there? I think Ron Browse was up there as well.
Wow.
But people that you would never imagine to be in the mix together. And they kept saying it. They was like, well, this is considered the new artist. I'm the old, you know. But they like, yo, but you KRS-One.
Right.
Yeah. So it was wild. So that answers, hopefully that answers your question, BX, about.
Yeah, that did. We're about to take our final break, and then we're going to come back and close out with you. That was just amazing. I'm in awe with that story. That is like one of the best stories that we heard up in here so far. What a way to do our 1-year anniversary.
Absolutely.
Yo,
Bedtyme, baby.
We'll be right back. This is Outside the Booth.
That's crazy.
Bedtyme, baby.
The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Yo, I'm still number one. Yo, oh my God.
Outside the booth, DJ Kamish, BX, DJ Knuckles, DJ Bedtyme is here.
Yes.
And I mean, that was an incredible story.
Let me tell you, before we even get into the next thing, Bedtyme, I have to let you know you are one of my favorite interviews that we've had over this year outside the booth. I really appreciate you coming through and just sharing your story with us. It's like we're talking to you about things that we don't really tap into with a lot of people, and that
100%.
that is so refreshing for us, and it shows how we're growing as a show as well, that DJs and personalities like you are comfortable with sharing with us. So just from you guys watching us, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, for sharing your stories. Like, this is just, man, this is,
you know what, man, quite often people in our line of business, they get embarrassed somewhat by their past or certain things. You know, there's nothing for me to be embarrassed about. You know, this is a testament. Everything I've gone through is a testament to what I am and who I am now. So that's how I looked at it. And I always looked at, I appreciate the negative that happened, but it's too much positive that came from it. So that's how I look at it, man.
It's all a stepping stone to where you are right now.
Exactly.
And where you're headed. You know what I mean?
Your journey is dope.
You got to respect your journey, whether it's every journey's got bumps in the road. It got, pivots. It's got, it's got heights. It's got valleys. It's got everything. So,
and it's all experience.
It's all experience.
Just keep moving, bro. And you're growing. I heard the kids in the back, man. That means you got some young ones. So you're still growing with that too, man. You keep on moving, man.
Yep. God bless my daughter, or our daughter and our son. Olivia, Diane, and Aiden Bryan. You know, they the light of my day or our day. One is about to be 4, and the other one's about to be 2, man. And my son, like my mirror image. It's crazy.
That's awesome. But listen, we're not going to hold you up from daddy duties and everything.
And dinner.
We just have one question.
Now y'all good.
And after hearing your journey, I can't wait to hear your answer. But what advice would you give to a young or younger DJ Bedtyme 357?
Go back to middle school. Go back to 7th grade. What would that advice?
I could take it back further. I'll take it back to the day where my mom decided to give us up. You know,
yes.
From that point on.
How old were you?
7.
I think I was 7 because it was the day before my birthday, so I was turning 8, I believe. Yeah. From that point, I told myself, do not allow your history to be the reason for you not becoming successful. And when you say successful or you look at success, do not measure it just by fame and fortune. I'm successful in the manner of the structure of my immediate family right now. I feel like I'm rich because I have the wife, the children, the steady home, the steady income, the faith, you know, the gratitude, the love that currently exists. We're rich in those things. It doesn't have to be a financial thing. So telling my younger self, do not allow at all your past to be the reason for you not becoming successful in any way, shape, form, or fashion, or however you would define success.
Amen. I love it. I know we don't have too much more time with you, but let everybody know what you have coming up. What's next for DJ Bedtyme 357?
So I took a break for a little while because of the family structure, and fortunately enough for me, it was the same time that Remy decided to take a break and have her child and grow a little bit. But now that I'm back in the swing of things, I pulled the short school bus out of the parking garage, and now all over the world. You can catch me Monday through Friday right here on Party 101.9 at iHeart Radio from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 with my co-defendant DWI.
Yes, DWI. Shout out to D.
Yep. And then also, I have a show on 88.1 FM in Middletown, Connecticut. We service all of Hartford down to Stamford. It's probably one of the bigger radio stations up there. And I'm on every Monday, every second, third, and fourth Monday of the month from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that show is the A&R report as well. So I go from one on Monday to the other on Monday. And we just keep this thing moving for the unsigned indie community, man. Aside from that, I'm continuing to live life as I see fit in God's eyes, man. That's all. And I'm not a heavy religious type of person, but I do believe there's a higher power looking over all of us. And somebody, I don't know who, but somebody has steered me in the right path all these years. So I'm giving him the credit.
No, amen. Yes, and that's our show for the day, everybody. Yeah. DJ Bedtyme 357. Follow him everywhere. Follow him, book him. Tune in to Party 101.9. Tune in to 88.1 FM. I'm your girl BX.
DJ Knuckles, Mr. 212.
And the one and only
DJ Commish.
And we are outside the booth. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
It's our anniversary.
Y'all stay tuned. Like us, follow us, give us 5 stars. We see y'all next time.
It's our anniversary.
The new Party 101.9. The new Party 101.9. The new Party 101.9. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was really big.
Thank y'all, man. I know y'all keep thanking me, but I appreciate y'all. It's just like this that help me remain relevant, man. I appreciate it. You know, it's y'all doing me more so a favor than the other way around. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Listen, I'm going to send my son's